Hello everybody, it's Fufu here, and today I'm going to be talking about the top 5 most powerful Alolan Pokemon. But before we get into that, I really want to say thank you for all the support on my previous video. I really appreciate it. It was so great to see so much positive feedback and that you guys like this kind of video, because I really enjoy making it, I really enjoy researching it, and it definitely gives me the motivation when I see that it is enjoyed. And what I like to see most is the comments. I try to reply to as many as possible. I see these videos as a collaborative thing, and it's just putting ideas out there so that people can comment, and just seeing what you guys think is really great. So going into this video, bear that in mind. I'd really like to see likes for support so that I know if I'm doing these things as you like them, or if I could improve in them anyway, and comments are really appreciated. I just love interacting with you guys, so please try to do that on this video. So the top 5 most powerful Alolan Pokemon. I was going to do this the same way as I did the Z-moves list in terms of damage output, but then when I was looking into it, it would be quite similar to the top 10 Z-moves list, and I wanted to do something a little bit different, although still based in fact, because I don't like to do opinion-based stuff. Obviously everyone has an opinion. What I want is the truth, no fake news on this channel. So what I decided to do was split this into 5 different categories and hand out awards for each of those 5 categories to determine what are the 5 most powerful Alolan Pokemon. First up, we have the Pokemon with the highest attack stat. There was some quite fierce competition in this, and I'm going to count down the top 3 and I'll name the winner of this category after that. But there were some really close ones just trying to get onto the bottom of this list. So in at number 3 is actually Buzzwole with a base 139 attack stat. It makes a lot of sense. That guy is Hench. He has been bench pressing so many things, and yeah, hits really hard. It just makes sense. He's an Ultra Beast. He's going to be powerful, and it's definitely more on that physical side. If you've seen those biceps and abs and everything, oh my lord, that insect is terrifying. So Buzzwole makes number 3, but doesn't quite get the winner of this category. In at number 2 is actually Wishy Wash. Now this thing is generally seen more as a special attacker, but it has equal physical and special attack at base 140, so it makes the second most powerful physical attacker. Obviously this is only in the schooling form. It is weak as anything when it's not got its buddies to back it up, but Wishy Wash definitely a powerful threat when it does have its friends around. So Wishy Wash making the second highest attack stat of all the Alolan Pokemon. But for the winner of this category, the Pokemon with the highest attack stat of all Alolan Pokemon, that is going to be Kartana, which has an insane base 181 attack stat that's much higher than anything else in this generation. Again, an Ultra Beast on this list. It makes sense. Those things have got some really crazy stats. And yeah, Kartana hits so hard. It doesn't actually have very high base power moves, but you don't really notice because it's just got that attack stat that makes even mediocre power moves hit so hard. So Kartana definitely deserving of this powerful Pokemon place. So next we'll move on to special attackers, and again I'll count down the top 3, and actually there wasn't as much competition on this list. The ones that I've got here were definitely a step above most of the others on the list. So in at number 3, again we're going to see Wishy Wash, and it is known to be more of a special attacker when run. It hits very hard with that Hydro Pump, and that's because it's coming off that base 140 special attack stat, and it's definitely well worth noting that Wishy Wash is on both lists. It hits so hard, and it really is one of the most powerful Alolan Pokemon. I guess if I was making the list a bit longer, Wishy Wash would definitely be there, but it's not won either of these categories, so it's not got its medal yet. In at number 2, and it's going to be a Pokemon that you can get very early in game in terms of Pokemon Sun and Moon, and that is Vikavolt. If you grab a Grubbin, you're going to end up with one of the most powerful special attackers in the game, coming off a base 145 special attack stat. So what this thing lacks in speed, because a lot of people think that it should be really fast, it does make up for in raw attacking power. 145 special attack is massive, and it makes number 2 on this list. But taking the number 1 spot again is going to be an Ultra Beast, and that is going to be Xurkitree with that huge base 173 special attack stat, again outstripping the competition by miles. It's very powerful. This thing hits so hard, and it wins this category, joining Kartana as one of the top 5 most powerful Alolan Pokemon. So now that we've looked at the raw offensive stats, it's time to move on to damage output. So I'm going to be looking at the physical and the special attacker that deal the most damage. And I'm going to work this out in a similar way that I did in my previous video, which is these attacks are going to be targeted at the same thing, which is an Arcanine that's used burn up, so it's typeless, so all types of attacks are on a level playing field, and its defense and special defense are the same, so all attacks are on a level playing field. So in terms of physical attacks, on my top 10 Z moves list, the physical attacker that won out in terms of Alolan Pokemon was Tapu Bulu. It hit very hard with its Bloom Doom. Is that the most powerful Pokemon on this list? Well, actually, it's not. It's a Pokemon not using a Z move. So what attacks are more powerful than Z moves? Well, there's one that definitely is, and it's used by Alolan Gollum. Alolan Gollum is going to take this medal, and it has Explosion that is boosted by Galvanize. And not only that, Alolan Gollum can also hold the Choice Band while going for that Galvanize boosted Explosion, which is potentially one of the most powerful moves in the game, not including setup. The only other Pokemon that can use such a powerful move is Mega Glalie, that can use Explosion with a Refrigerate boost, but Mega Glalie has to hold the Mega Crystal, whereas Alolan Golem is not a Mega Pokemon, so it can actually hold the Choice Band, which is just insane. But it does not stop there, and that is actually not the most powerful move in the game. Without setup, it probably is, but there is another move that takes a few turns to get going that actually ends up at a higher base power, and that is also going to be used by Alolan Golem in this case because it's the Pokemon with the highest attack stat that can use this move, and that is going to be Rollout. After a defense curl on the first turn and 5 turns of hitting, you hit a ridiculous base 960 power. That is insane. It does way more damage than any other attack, and Alolan Golem is going to decimate those Arcanines. It is just stupid. It's worth noting that there are a couple of other Pokemon that were very close and would have been really cool to see them on this list too, because they're probably overlooked, and that is Minior, that can also use this defense curl rollout. In Shield's down form, it has a base 100 attack stat, although Alolan Golem has that base 120, so it wins out a little bit, but it would have been cool to see Minior here. And then the other Pokemon is actually Alolan Sandslash, that can use defense curl Ice Ball, that does exactly the same thing, again off that base 100 attack stat, so just not quite as powerful, but really cool to see those Pokemon getting close. So after Alolan Golem's absolute domination of the physical attacking side, we're going to look at the special attacks. And in terms of the Z moves, it was Tapu Lele that won out there. So are there any special attacks that have a higher power than that? Well, there's actually not really any special attacks that get past the base 200 power barrier, which is what Z moves can get to as well. However, there is a way that you can outdamage Tapu Lele, not without setup again though. So Tapu Lele would get this if you weren't counting setup, but because the other option is so cool and actually a Pokemon very close to my own heart, probably my favorite new Pokemon, I'm gonna allow it. I'm just gonna allow it. We're gonna put it out there, and that is because it is Drampar. Drampar is a wicked Pokemon, so goofy, and I love it. But it can get access to the move Echoed Voice, another move that I absolutely love. This is a very foo-foo pick because I love both the Pokemon and the move. Echoed Voice is something that I was notorious for back in the day, and it can get to that base 200 power. It also gets Stab because Drampar is normal type, and what is different is that Drampar has a slightly higher base attack, special attack stat compared to Tapu Lele, and it also can hold the Choice Specs, giving it an equivalent boost to Tapu Lele's Psychic Terrain. So, Drampar has the higher special attack stat, it also has the higher base power move. After turn 5, Echoed Voice gets to base 200 power, and Tapu Lele's Shatter Psyche is only at base 175 power, so it does have the higher base power move, and the Choice Specs that Drampar can hold, because it doesn't need the Z Crystal, gives an approximate boost to Tapu Lele's Psychic Surge. So there you go, Drampar actually outdamages Tapu Lele, and I love that fact, so I'm going to allow it. So there we go, we've got the most powerful attackers in terms of Alolan Golem and Drampar, and we've also got the highest base stats with Kartana and Xurkitree, But there's one more award that I'm willing to give, and it's a Pokemon that hasn't been mentioned up until now, and it really deserves a mention because it hits so hard. It was quite a surprise when people found out about it, and that is going to be Araquanid. Now, I'm kind of just making this award for Araquanid, but it's the most powerful damage boosting ability. So that is going to be Water Bubble. We all know Araquanid's base stats, its offensive stats aren't that high, but with the Water Bubble ability, it doubles its damage output for its water type attacks. So that is ridiculous. Just to put it into context, Araquanid only has a base 50 special attack stat, but if it uses a water move and it has max investment and a modest nature, it would actually have a higher special attack stat than Vikavolt. Only Xurkitree would have a higher special attack stat when it goes for those water moves. And in terms of physical attack, it does have a slightly higher physical attack, and it would actually have a higher physical attack equivalent with the water bubble ability than Kartana. So it would actually have the highest attack stat in the game. So that's why I think you can't ignore Araquanid in this list, because it just gets ridiculous power. Now, it doesn't have the highest base power attacks to use, so that's why you don't really see it getting into these damage output lists, but it definitely deserves a mention, and I think that a lot of people would feel quite sad if it didn't make this list. So it's definitely going to make the top 5 most powerful Alolan Pokemon list. So just to round up, there we have it. We've got Kartana and Xurkitree representing the Ultra Beasts with the highest base stats. We then have some really cool Pokemon in Lowland Gollum and Drampa being the highest damage output in terms of physical and special attacker respectively, and finally we've got Araquanid with the most powerful damage boosting ability. I think that that is a really cool lineup. I'm very pleased with this countdown, and I hope you guys are too. Please let me know if you think that I missed anything off. I tried to do everything as fact-based as possible. If you disagree with anything, let me know. If you're happy about this list, if any of your favorites made it on this list, I would love to see that too. So let me know in the comment section below. All that's left to be said is I've been foofootoo, you've been awesome, and hopefully see you next time. Goodbye.